Hello, this is a Volkswagen Golf. I know about cars. This car has actually been brought down to me by another YouTuber. It is owned by Amber of Driven 24/7, and it is International Women's Day today. Not the day you're watching this. That'll be sometime in the future. But it's the day I'm recording it. So I have a car owned by a woman. Now, being a woman, Amber, well, she's very brave in the fact she goes out and makes videos full stop, because in this domain, in the car world, a woman doing that is, you know. But she's been told in the comments many times since she bought this car, having told everyone that it has 180 horsepower, that no, it doesn't. It has 150 horsepower. Why is this? There's kind of logic both ways. So today I'm going to stick it on the dyno and try and dispel a myth and find out what the actual situation is. The car is a Mark IV 2003 Volkswagen Golf GTI with a red eye, 1.8 turbo. It is not a GTI anniversary. There were a few GTI anniversaries, and through my hastily researched knowledge this morning, there was a 20th anniversary which was in America, which is, I would, unlucky if you're that. And the 25th anniversary. And the 25th anniversary was available in red, silver or black, I think. Volkswagen Golf enthusiasts are going to rip me to pieces in the comments. I think it had Recaro seats and some other bits and bobs. And it had this splitter and the skirts and the rear valance and the wheels and everything that this car has. But this car isn't an anniversary. It's a replica of an anniversary. It's basically a Golf GTI that's got the body kit on. Might have been done at in the dealer from new, who knows. But the confusion has come about because the anniversary model had what was known as an AUQ engine. I'm so out of my comfort zone doing this. I'm used to Saxos, man. It had an AUQ engine, which is, they all have the 1.8 the turbo engine, the 1.8 20 valve turbo, apart from the 2 litre. The 2 litre Mark IV GTI had 115 horsepower from a 2 litre 8 valve naturally aspirated engine, and is, well, it's pretty slow. This one, as I say, turbo. So most of them were turbo. Available varying different power grades, but effectively the general rule of thumb is that if it's a 1.8 20 valve turbo GTI, it's 150 horsepower, and if it's the anniversary, it's 180 horsepower. And yet Amber tells me this has 180 horsepower, but it is not an anniversary. The men in the comments are quick to point out it's not 180 horsepower, it's 150 horsepower. So who's right? I genuinely don't know. That's part of the reason for sticking it on here. Now, oh, wrong side. It's not French, is it? It has an engine. This is a good start. Volkswagen, Audi, Seat, Skoda, all the cars from that era, that VAG era. The engine code is normally 3 digits. Normally starts with an A if it's under 200 horsepower. And it's always part of the engine number. And not only is it part of the engine number, it's always printed in the engine bay, which it is here. So this car has a sticker on it saying AUQ. AUQ is the 180 horsepower version. But apparently this doesn't have 180 horsepower, it has 150. This car also has a fly-by-wire throttle, an electric throttle. There's no cable, it's entirely fly-by-wire, which is what the AUQ engine has, the 180 horsepower one. As we can also see, it has a 6-speed gearbox. That's something the 180 horsepower AUQ engine came with, not the 150. That was a 5-speed. So all the signs are pointing towards this being a 180, but it's not an anniversary. What's going on? Genuinely, I don't know. But genuinely, what's going on? If you're a Volkswagen Golf Mark IV expert, put it in the comments, because Am doesn't know either. She's like, what the hell's going on with my car? There have been Volkswagens on the dyno before. I've had a number of different Volkswagens, and if you go on the website with all the dyno recordings and results, you'll see there are Volkswagens and Seats and all sorts on there, but there's not been any videos. This is the first one. The first Volkswagen video on the dyno on this channel. What do I think is going to happen? Well, Volkswagens tend to do okay. This engine has been in a number of cars that have come on it, and they all are there or thereabouts. In fact, the only one that wasn't was a Seat Leon Cupra R225. The reason it wasn't is because it made 208. And at the time we thought, oh, that's not too bad. It's only supposed to be 210. And then we found out it was supposed to be 225. This car has done about 100,000 miles. It's in quite good shape. It seems quite happy. What do we reckon? Is it going to be the 180? Look, the sticker and the throttle and the gearbox suggests it is, but that is what a woman has told us. Or is it going to be the 150? Is she going to go home disappointed? I think my gut feeling, I've had that number 177 in my head for such a long time. Since I started recording this, I've thought 177. I believe Amber is right. I believe this is a 180 and it's not an anniversary and something odd is going on with this car. I don't know what that is. It's all factory, but it appears to be the 180 model. I think it's going to be there or thereabouts. Volkswagens, as I say, they don't normally exceed, but they are normally pretty close. So I'm going to go 177, but it doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? Put it in the comments. This is for women everywhere. I appreciate this seems like an odd gesture for women everywhere, but it's for women everywhere. Oh dear. Okay, right. So I think this is a win and a loss. So it's a win for women because it's obviously not the 150. This is meant to be the 180. So that's good. She is correct. And it is an AUQ. It is what it says it is. However, it's not producing what it's meant to produce and it's all going a bit squirrely. So yeah, it starts off well. And then at 3,500, it all goes Pete Tong. I mean, the graph's actually, the shape of it is okay. For a turbo car, that's pretty much there. But I think there is where it dies off. And it's actually supposed to go a bit more broad. I think it's dropping here. So like just under 3.5. There could be a number of reasons for that. Could be airflow meter. Could be all sorts. There's all sorts of things. Calibration on the throttle. Yeah, or it could just be that it's a bum run. We'll do another run. We'll see. I don't think she's going to be very happy with that. I've got the book figures written down. Look, I wrote it all down, see? 180 at 5.5, but it's not at 5.5. So it's supposed to peak here. So it is going a bit belly up. And torque, 173 pound-foot at 1950. And that is wrong as well. 166 at 4.6. So some people will say, oh, this is a very healthy 150 engine. It isn't. The 150s are generally about 150. This is blatantly a 180 that isn't quite happy. We'll do another. Let's try. Let's be positive.
Are you worried? Don't worry.
Oh. Right, I said I needed extraction. Yeah, that's not happy. Before I go and look at the numbers, I don't think there's any point going much further with it because all that stuff just came out the back, and the clag, it's still, you can't see it probably, but it's smoky in here. And it smells, do you know what it smells like? It smells like a miniature railway. Right, so this is going to be the only other one I'm doing. There's no point keep doing these because it's obviously not happy. I don't think it's anything serious, but the fueling is not right. The kind of, the air-fuel ratio, something is wrong. But let's have a look. Oh no, it's gone down again. Sorry, Amber. So it starts off quite happy, and it's getting to sort of 3.5, 4, and it revved. That's the other thing. So the peak power, the peak figure on one of these cars, and we need some Volkswagen neeks to get into the comments here. So 180 at 5.5. A car that peaks its power at 5.5 would not normally rev. I mean, I got to 7. Well, on the gauge, I'd gone past 7, and then I backed off, and there was no limiter. So is this carrying some sort of iffy remap? I mean, there is a chance that it's a 150 that's carrying a iffy remap. No. I am confident this is a 180. What I don't know is why a non-anniversary Golf, which looks like an anniversary because it's a fake, but this could all be dealer fit, I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? But why a non-anniversary Golf has a 180 engine? And I've messaged my brother-in-law, who is a Volkswagen fanboy, and he seems to think, he was surprised. He thought I didn't realise that you could get them in a Golf Mark IV that wasn't a 180. This is the engine that's fitted to the Octavia VRS, I think, and the Audi TT front-wheel drive, the basic one, if I remember rightly. I could be wrong. I don't know anything about these. I know more about those. So basically, she was looking into whether she was going to bother remapping this and doing some mods and whatnot. Well, the first thing she should do is probably sort that out. I wonder if there's any clues. I like this, look. Oh, I can't do it one-handed. There we go. It's got a Bosch airflow meter, so the first thing I thought is, has it got a crappy airflow meter on it? But it hasn't. Unless it's old, maybe. Or maybe it's... Oh, hang on. Oh, has it? Oh, has it? Is that different to that? What's the date on there? 02. That's the original... Oh, no, is that the plug? That's the plug. Idiot. No, I can't see any... That's the first thing I'd be checking. I mean, it really needs a good session with some diagnostics, OBD, and probably a guy who knows these engines. Or woman, I should say, who knows these engines. I'm being misogynistic now as well. Yeah, someone who knows these engines and these cars could probably diagnose that pretty quickly. But judging by the clag coming at the back of it, I would say it's over-fueling or under-boosting. One of them, which one kind of amounts to the other. If it's over-boosting, then... Sorry, if it's under-boosting, then it is going to overfuel by default. So, actually, no, I think I might have just found the problem. So what? Well, first off, there's a squeaky door. And secondly, look, it's got the wrong mats in it. Okay, well, that's a bit of a bummer. For Amber, not for me. I don't care, it's not my car. It's not going to change my opinion on the Volkswagen's performance on the dyno generally. I'm still going to say generally the VAG stuff is there or thereabouts. In fact, I was telling Amber the same story earlier on. The funniest Mark IV Golf story I've got for this dyno, we had a Volvo, I think it was a Volvo Rolling Road Day ages ago, and a guy brought, for some reason, he brought down a smoky old GT TDI thing, which is supposed to be 150 horsepower, diesel with 150 horsepower. I thought they were 130, but I'm pretty sure he said this one was 150. Well, it was, because if you go on the website, on the production tables, you see a Golf in there, Mark IV Golf GT TDI, with 150 horsepower. That's the book figure. Then, when I'd done the run, he came to me and said, "Can I do it again? But I'm just going to do something." And he pulled out of his pocket a £5 eBay chip tuning shitty thing, and he put that on. And everyone laughed, and everyone thought, "Oh, we're going to fill the workshop with clag, and it's not going to work." And it made 158. It instantly gained 8 horsepower, and it gained 20 pound-foot for £5. I mean, it's dead now, but, you know, I checked it the other day, it's scrapped. But, yeah, 8 horsepower for £5. That's a bargain. Not this one, obviously. That's not going to happen, because it's lost more than that. But let's get Amber in. Before she takes the car away, get her thoughts. She doesn't know what it's done. So we can watch her crushing disappointment live on the camera. Are you nervous?
Generally nervous.
This is Amber from the 24... No.
Do it again. Right. Okay.
No, this is Amber from the Driven 24/7 YouTube channel.
Hello.
She has brought her Golf down, which you've already seen and you've been laughing at.
What does that mean?
She genuinely doesn't know.
I'm nervous.
She genuinely doesn't know what's happened. Right.
Oh.
So I'm going into this run to prove 2 things, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's International Women's Day. which means it's her day, not mine.
That's quite convenient, actually.
Because every other
It's
day
well
is
planned.
International Men's Day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, right, so it's International Women's Day. So we're trying to prove some people in your comments who've been mansplaining to you that this car is not 180 horsepower as you think. Because it's got an AUQ engine, hasn't it? So you're thinking this is 180 horsepower, despite the fact it's not an anniversary model, right? And they've been saying, no, it's 150. You are correct, and they are wrong. This is a win for women. It's not a 150.
Cool, yeah. That's a box ticked, okay.
But with every good bit of news, there's a bad bit of news. It's not 180 either.
Oh, what?
So it's not very, it's a little bit unhealthy.
Oh.
So the best figure was 167. Great. If you want to cry, I'll get some tissues.
But that's not also 150.
It's also not 150. So it is an AU. I genuinely, I would now put unless somebody has taken a 150, put a dodgy remap on it,
Yes.
stuck the AUQ sticker on it, and a 6-speed box, and a fly-by-wire throttle, it hasn't happened, has it? So this is an AUQ. It's supposed to be 180.
Yeah, supposed to be.
It's not.
Yeah.
It did 167, and then I thought, right, let's give it a run. Let's warm it up, get it limber, and then it did 164. So the more you do, and a lot of smoke came out of it. Not smoke like, oh god, it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
It's overfueling.
Oh, okay.
That's what you can smell. That's why it stinks in it.
Yeah.
It's overfueling.
Yeah.
That means it's either pumping too much fuel in, or it's losing boost. It's one of the two.
Interesting, okay.
It's one of the two. So we'll show Amber the graph, and I'll try and explain on there, without sending her to sleep, what it all means.
Can I ask then, that would be maybe while it's not 180 like it should be, like that's why it's losing power, because obviously it's not healthy as it okay.
So basically,
that's interesting.
Up until about 3,000 revs, I think it's doing what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
After 3,000 revs, it's all going a bit peaked on.
Okay.
It's by far not the worst I've had on here. But basically, it's either injecting too much fuel into the cylinders, which is why it's kicking out some smoke, and it's left a puddle on the floor at the back. Or it's losing boost. But that means that it would be overfueling anyway. Because if it's losing its turbo boost, and it's injecting the amount of fuel in for the boost it thinks it needs, and then some of it's getting lost, it's ending up with too much fuel. So one way or the other, it's overfueling. And you said, on the way here, the fuel economy is...
Not great when you give it some, no. So there'll be no fuel left for a start.
No, that'll be fine. I've only done 2 runs, but that might explain it.
Yeah,
it should actually be better than it is. Yeah. So the only reason you want to check on this really is if it's overfueling, that can kill the catalytic converter.
Interesting.
And it can damage the bores and the pistons and the engine. All that can get a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, depends how bad it is, but on the plus side, it means it's probably not going to blow up.
And it hasn't, obviously, so far.
So we've popped the bonnet because I'm going to mansplain to Amber. Basically,
I have asked.
The first thing I'd be checking is this. You've got your air filter in here, and the engine is sucking air in through here. And this sensor here, the airflow meter, it's actually a MAF. It's a mass airflow sensor. So it's registering the amount of air that's going through, the quantity, right? And then the engine will figure, or the ECU will figure out how much fuel to put in to match this, to get the right mix, to get the 180 horsepower, and when to burn it, and when to fire the injectors and the sparks and everything. If that's lying, and saying I've got more air going through than it actually has, the ECU will be compensating by putting more fuel in. But it hasn't got more air going through.
So it could be faulty sensor.
So it could be that's faulty. So I'll be checking that first.
Cool.
The other thing you could have, there's a number of things it could be, but what it probably is, and Volkswagen people will probably hit us in the comments and tell us there's loads of things we missed, but the other thing that could happen is because the amount of air that's getting pulled through is getting dragged through by the turbo. The turbo's sucking all this in and then it's charging it up and pushing it back in here as a boost. That means that this is recording how much air is being sucked in. The turbo's creating the boost and it's having all these sensors here verify that. But if there's a leak between the turbo and this, or between that and one of the sensors, then the amount of boost actually going in won't be the same as what the ECU thinks is going in. But the amount of fuel will be set for the higher amount of boost that it should be. So if you lose the boost, but you've still got too much fuel, you end up with it overfueling. It's the same thing. So one way or the other, I reckon that's what it is. The good thing is that in a turbocharged car, overfueling is better than underfueling. Underfueling is when they blow up and melt.
Probably some sort of cheaper fix as such, hopefully.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got...
Could be a sensor.
The first thing I did was open the bonnet to see if it had a cheapo, like, Mickey Mouse airflow meter on it. MAF, I keep saying airflow meter, it's not, it's a MAF. But it doesn't, it's got a Bosch one, so unless that's a fake, then that's the proper one. But you can still, you could plug this into like an OBD, like a top-don or...
Yeah, I've got one of those, top-don.
Top-don, you're right, yeah, so you can you can plug that into this.
Yeah.
And it will tell you what the figures are
readings,
that it's seeing.
Yeah.
And if you can find out what it's supposed to be,
interesting.
It might be that it's not enough to throw a code, but it's you know, it could just be dirty and clogged.
Yeah.
You say it's got a panel filter in it.
I think so, an aftermarket one. I'm not
so
sure.
I'm going to put that down as a standard car because they don't do anything.
No.
But what can happen is if it's got a panel filter that's one of those sponge ones that's oiled, like a pipe across or something, if any of that oil gets onto that. That can screw the readings up as well, so it might be worth... In fact, if you've got a panel filter and you buy a new airflow meter, sometimes they invalidate the warranty on the airflow meter.
Oh, really?
Or MAF, damn it. So yeah, that could be what it is, but it's... I mean, there's a big engine bay, there's loads of crap in there, it could be all sorts. But I don't think it's anything serious.
No.
I think it's just likely a little hose or a little sensor is not quite right.
We'll go with that, I think. That's the... Yeah,
but you were on about modifying it.
Possibly.
Right. I wouldn't go modifying it until you've...
Oh, God, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Got to make it healthy first, for sure.
Get that right, yeah.
So what's this bit here saying, very smoky? Is that a comment you've made?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
So, yeah, it was just to remind me that I nearly died and choked to death. So these are the two runs that I did. So the red one is the first one. The other thing I want to know, so you probably don't know this because you've not long had the car, because how often do you change cars?
Quite a lot. I've had it since September last year. It's quite a long time for me.
Oh, that is a long time.
That is a long time.
Yeah, that is a long time. So I don't know much about these cars. You're not expert on them. But this second run here, I backed off.
Right.
The rev limiter still hadn't cut in. And that was at 7,000 revs.
Yeah.
Now, the peak power figure in the book is supposed to be at 5,500. So it's unusual for it to keep going and going and going.
Really? Okay.
Well, especially on a turbo engine. You don't normally see that. So maybe that's right. Maybe people who know these engines will say, no, AUQs, rev to whatever. But I thought that was odd. So there is a chance, the other thing we've got to bear in mind, someone might have put a shit remap on it.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. You can have that plugged in and take it to a VA, you know, a VAG tuner. And they'll tell you. But that's a possibility. So basically, yeah, your two runs, you've got black and red. The red one's the first one, so it starts off kind of okay, and it all goes a bit wrong about 3.5. The red one sort of dies off a bit, and then it starts going a bit like this. And I think it's supposed to go kind of up there, and then be broad across the top, which gets you near the 180. So you kind of you're not a million miles off. So yeah, it was 164 at 5,900 in the second run. First run 167.2.
Oh, okay.
So 167.2 and 166 pound-foot of torque, which is less than you're supposed to have, and it's a lot higher up. It's supposed to be 173 at 1,950.
Right.
And you're getting slightly less and much higher at rev range. So basically, it should shove you in the back. It'll shove you back in the seat pretty early on in the rev range, and I'm guessing it's probably not, because you used to. What is it you're used to? Are baths?
Yeah, hot hatches, so anything from 130 brake horsepower onwards.
Really, and that's the sort of cars that people see on your channel? Yeah. Didn't you have a Civic Type R?
Yeah, Civic Type R, first VTEC car.
I love a Civic Type R.
Yeah.
Well, so basically, how does that compare with the R-Bath in terms of speed? I'm guessing the R-Bath would eat this, would it? Or?
So obviously, I guess it's a much heavier car.
Yeah.
But when I give it some, it does feel quick, which is why I then thought it must be the 180 horsepower.
Right. It definitely is supposed to be 180.
Well, at least we've proven that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued by this. It's a genuine AUQ, all that. It's got the wheels, it's got the kit.
Yeah, anniversary rep in it, really.
But it's not an anniversary, as you can tell, because it hasn't got the funky seats. Yeah.
No, very odd.
But yeah, well, there you go. So, good up to there, not so great there. But I don't think it's going to be a massive thing to figure it out. It's just you're going to have to try and figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Right, we'll go and check Amber's channel out, Driven 24/7, and for more of the shenanigans with this, you know, she might even find out what went wrong with it.
Well, I need to fix it now, so thanks for that.
Yeah, I'll give her another video. There's more content now anyway.
Or do you want to fix it for your next video?
I've got
You'd rather not.
Stuff to do.
Okay. French cars and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's
So
a
I just
couple.
thought I'd offer.
Right. Cheers.